It's a me, Mike!
Hello everyone, I'm Senior Mike. Since the new Pokémon mainline games are on the horizon, I wanted to make a video about some stuff that have been rolling around my head for a long time. I've always been a huge Pokémon enthusiast. I've played all the main series games, with the exception of Black and White 2. And at the time of Gen 1 and 2, it was also my favorite game series. I feel like Game Freak is wasting a lot of potential with the latter games, especially Sword and Shield. I'm not talking about the graphics, I don't really care about the look of the games, I preferred the older one, but mainly because of style. The original style, more gritty style, it was more of my tastes. I don't think the graphics are a big problem, I don't like them, but I want to focus on the gameplay. I'm aware that it isn't easy to develop those kind of games in such a short amount of time, but still, having in their hand the highest grossing IP in the market should make up for any excuses. I've honestly had enough of generational gimmicks. The core gameplay of Pokémon doesn't need those kind of things to be interesting, and to me, actually improving the formula would be miles better than having weird ideas that becomes annoying after a gen or two, or in the case of Dynamax, after a month. This video is about some ideas, some things I would like to see implemented in the newer Pokémon games. First, I start with the wildest of those ideas, having a fifth move. Wolfie already talked about this topic extensively, you can find a link to his video in the description. And I mostly agree with his opinion. He is against the idea of a fifth move, but I'm suggesting a twist on just having a fifth move slot to just do whatever you already are doing with the rest of the moves on a Pokémon. In the fifth slot, only some moves could be learned, and they should be part of a specific list. Some example could be Protect, Follow Me, Ally Switch, Rage Powder, Fake Out, White Guard, Quash, and so forth. You get the idea. I don't want to make an extensive list right now, I just want to make a clear example of what I mean, what is in my head. The idea is to have some highly usable utility moves in this fifth slot, so to allow a Pokémon to have more moves and coverage, while still having to make sacrifice to fit all it needs to be effective, while also maybe trying to balance stuff like Ally Switch, while forcing the Pokémon to give up other option to use Ally Switch, since right now every single mon can learn Ally Switch, and this is pretty annoying. Some moves could also be adjusted to have a new kind of utility, mainly an opportunity cost with this system. For example, Detect could be different from Protect in the way that it could be learned in the standard 4 move slot, where Protect could be only learned in the 5th one. Some new highly damaging move could be made to use this slot as a drawback for the higher power, for example. We could see new items interacting with this move slot, like new Assault Vest that gives a stat boost at the cost of locking out the Pokémon from using the 5th move slot. I'm aware that the dev team should be very careful in managing this move slot and deciding which moves to place in this spot. And honestly, I'm not very confident in Game Freak's ability to balance their own gameplay. But I still think the idea has a lot of potential to make the battle system deeper and more interesting. Now, before we shift to the second point of the video, I'd like to point out that currently 400% of my viewers aren't subscribed to the channel. So, if you're liking the video, a subscription will be really appreciated. I make video like once every 2 years, so it won't bother you too much. Okay, now, second point. Hear me out. I want HMs back. I know, they were a burden, but I still think it was better than essentially being in a stupid theme park. Like, come on, I need to traverse this rocky area, let's call on that horse rent via Amazon, it's also free! Yoo-hoo! I need to go back to Kakatua Island, let's call the Charizard transport that just happens to be everywhere I fucking... I'm sorry, everywhere I go! It feels like everything the player does, it's in a safe space, free of any kind of danger. It's not an adventure, it's a theme park. Pokémon should be about adventuring and bonding with those monsters you encounter along the way. This ranting jobber Pokemon solution is taking away all the sauce from this, and I hate it. HMs weren't perfect, and that is why I want them back with a twist. Why should Pokemon only learn stuff that regards battle? That is boring and limiting. We already have abilities that only work outside of battles. HM should be the same. Moves that can be used only outside of battles and don't occupy occupano an actual move slot. Of course, not every Pokemon should be able to learn every HMs, that's a given, as it was in the past, but with this method, you still have to think about how you build your team, without being locked into having garbage or boring moves throughout the adventure. And HM slaves can become a new type of utility mon, boasting little battle power, in exchange being able to carry a substantial amount of HMs, freeing the player from worrying about distributing them among a balanced team. Also, HMs don't need to be mandatory or be auto-obtained from the player at a fixed point in the game progression. Not all of them at least. Less handholding would improve the exploration part of the games and diminish the sense of being always on a safe trail. Heck, in Gen 1 Fly was hidden here of all places! Not hard to find, but you have at least to try watch around. Having to use cards, it's also fine since Erika, located in the same city, already require you to use it for progression. And it's also suggesting to the player that something interesting could be hiding behind the tree that they can cut. And Surf require a decently in-depth exploration of the Safari Zone and Fuchsia City, Fuchsiapoli, Fuchsia Town, Fuchsia Città, the place where Koga lives, to be found. So I really don't think every HM should be just a given at some point. Oh, you encounter random NPC number 43. Here, take these HMs because I don't really need it, so you can have it instead of me. Why is that a thing? Let me gain stuff for once? HMs don't need to be hard to find, but should not be handed like free trial bruschetta, acting like the player is walking around a grocery store. And those are the two main points I wanted to make. The list isn't over yet, I still have other ideas, but I want to first put out this video and see how it goes. So if it reaches like, let's say 5 likes, I will make the other video before Pokémon Scarlet e Pokémon Violetto get released. So for now that's about it. See you hopefully not the next year, but before of that.